like something was missing from my life. I was the only one of my friends who didn't have a brother or sister, and I begged my parents for one. Well, now I wish I hadn't begged them so much because that's when all our problems started. I never thought they would actually adopt until one day when I came home from school and my mom and dad were jumping around the kitchen. It was the weirdest thing ever. They were clutching a pile of official-looking documents and my mom turned to me and squealed, "We're adopting!" My jaw dropped. I had assumed they were adopting a baby, but then they told me they were adopting another teenager and my heart started beating faster. Then they told me it was a girl my age, and when I heard that, I couldn't stop hugging them. This would be amazing, I thought. The next month, we went to pick her up. We were all a bit nervous and didn't know what to expect. Her name was Lisa, and she was also 14 like me. She was really shy when we introduced ourselves, and even after we got home and I showed her to her room, she still didn't smile much. It would just take time for her to settle in, we decided. If only. That night, she cried so much, and my parents had no idea what to do. She asked my mom if she could sleep in my room instead, as it was closer to my parents' room, and she felt scared, she said. I couldn't believe it when they agreed. And they actually forced me to move to her room. I was furious about this. This wasn't what I was expecting at all. The next day, she came to school with me and I introduced her to my friends and my boyfriend. She immediately started flirting with my boyfriend right in front of me. She definitely wasn't the shy girl I'd originally thought she was. To make matters worse, she told everyone that I snored all night long and they all believed her. I was mortified. After school, my mom forced me to take Lisa to the mall with me, even though I really didn't want to. She was still flirting with my boyfriend and all my friends seemed to like her. I'd waited my whole life for a sister, and now it was a disaster. She was trying to ruin my life. We were looking for dresses for the junior prom, and every time I tried one on, she'd laugh and say I looked too fat or too short. In that moment, I wish she'd never been adopted by my parents. I eventually chose a dress and we left the mall. When we got home, I showed Mom the dress I'd bought, and then I went to put it back in the bag. That's when I noticed there was something else in the bag too. In fact, there were two things. That's strange, I thought. I didn't buy anything else. My mom saw me staring in confusion and came over to have a look. I turned to Lisa and said, "Hey, did you buy this necklace and earrings?" Lisa said no and then yawned and said she was tired and wanted to go to bed. I started to panic. I definitely hadn't bought these things and they still had the security tag on them. Mom looked at me and what she said next shocked me. "Sophie, darling, did you steal these by any chance?" I was so shocked. Why would my mom ever think I would steal? What happened next was even worse. Lisa came back into the room and said, "She did steal them. I saw her. I saw her put them in the bag and run out." This was insane. Lisa was lying. I would never ever steal. Mom sent me to my room and told me to think about what I had done and that the next morning she was going to take me back to the mall so I could give the jewelry back. I cried the whole night. I was so angry at Lisa. She was a monster and was destroying our family and destroying my life. She had obviously stolen them to make me look like a thief. The next morning, Mom and I went to the mall and explained what had happened. The security guard came out and said that I was brave, kind girl to confess to something I hadn't even done. My mom looked surprised. "What do you mean?" she said. Then the security guard described the way the thief looked, and I almost laughed. I knew it. Lisa was bad news. Mom was so upset on the drive home. She apologized to me, and as soon as we got home, she called Lisa down to the kitchen. She threatened to call the adoption agency if Lisa didn't confess. Lisa looked terrified. Suddenly, she was crying, and we could barely understand what she was saying. She said she was so sorry and that she didn't even know why she'd done it. She just wanted some attention and was afraid my mom would never love her the way she loved me. I looked at her in disgust. She'd stolen my room, tried to steal my boyfriend, and now she'd stolen jewelry and blamed it on me. It took me a few days to calm down, but after her outburst, she started being really kind to me. Eventually, I realized that she'd had a tough life and all she needed was some love and affection, and to feel welcome in our family. So, she wasn't a monster even though what she had done was awful and could have got me in big trouble. Being adopted can't be easy, especially when you're much older like Lisa. So Mom, Dad, and I forgave her. She quickly learned that it's not okay to steal or lie, and that we had welcomed her into our family and that she didn't need to worry. From then on, things got much better, and I have everything I always wanted, a sister.